everybody, I hope you're all doing well. Tonight's video is going to be looking at some concealers, the best concealers in my opinion for a dry, aging under eye. So anybody that's over the age of 21, your skin underneath your eyes is going to be the first thing that is going to start to age. The skin under our eyes is very sensitive, very delicate, very thin. So it's important that you're using a good eye cream, of course. And if you guys want, I could do a video explaining my favorite eye creams because I've gone through a lot, I've tested a lot, and I found the best of the best. So if you want me to do a separate video going over my favorite eye creams, let me know and I can do that. But concealers, when we put our makeup on, it is so important to have a good concealer because in my opinion, it can make or break your makeup look. There's nothing worse than having just crepey looking under eyes that's filled with creasing, and then you're putting powder over it and people are baking. That shouldn't be because they have dry under eyes. I don't powder my under eyes. It doesn't work for me. It does not look flattering on me. Other people can do that. Kudos. Wonderful. But I think you kind of know your face and know if you can or you can't. And in my opinion, I look better without it. But I also don't deal with a ton of creasing because I found good concealers. So, I'm going to share those concealers with you tonight. So I hope you're excited. Now, before we jump into the video full force, please check out the description box below. That's where I have my Patreon link. That's where I have the link to my main ASMR channel here on YouTube. And all of my other socials. So, now that that is out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into the video. And if you want a way to support me, show your support, and in turn, when you guys support me, I'm able to post more content because I'm able to film more. So I do have a Patreon where I make ASMR content. So it's strictly ASMR, purely in a whisper. I do trigger videos. I do story times where I talk about my past. I had a very eventful, interesting past, to say the least. I've lived a very full life. It's almost as if I've lived multiple lives. And I go into detail about that on my Patreon. I also do, like I said, trigger videos, and things like that. So that link will be down below. Okay, so my newest friend is from the brand Say, S-A-I-E. I really like this packaging. I think it's pretty with the pastel, blue, purple, periwinkle, the black writing. This just came out of the market, and this is in the shade HB2. I like the packaging itself as well. I think it's very classy, very pretty. It is a light coverage. You can build it. You can. But it's kind of made to be worn as light coverage. It's very dewy. It is a skincare infused concealer. So it's good for a drier under eye. My only complaint would be is the colors. I wish that the range had a few more light colors. This is the second lightest. And as you can see, it's darker than my hand. So I'm going to need to pick up a lighter shade. But I will gladly do so because as you can see the glow there. It's very hydrating. Very hydrating. So you have to consider if you have oily skin, it might be too hydrating. There's going to be another one I show you that is even more hydrating, and I would not recommend if you have oily skin. But this brightens. This does not settle, I think, because it's infused with the skincare. It is very good in terms of how it looks under the eye. Very nice. Would highly recommend. The next one is a concealer for the people who like more of a matte powdered look. Now, you can get a matte powdered look without actually putting powder under your eyes. And this concealer will help you get that look without creasing. I really like the doe foot too. It's kind of the way it's made. It's kind of smoothing for the under eye. I have this in 3 shades because I love it so much. This one that I'm showing you is 3.5, and this is the Georgio Armani Power Fabric Concealer. This is so nice, guys. It blends like a literal dream. I mean, it's seamless, and it does once it dries. It dries to like a powder. But it's not flat matte. It still has a little bit of a sheen, but not as shiny as the last one. But it's not going to make you look like flat matte, but it is going to give you like a velvety look to the under eye without looking creepy or dry. And they have a good color range, and I would recommend it for anybody who has like dry to normal skin, even oily. Super dry, you know, you could try it. It smells like paint. So it doesn't have the best scent, but it's a stunning concealer. Stunning. Very glam. And I would say it's a medium to full coverage. So definitely one that you can wear if you're doing like a full glam. Beat to the gods. Beat to the gods. I have a pimple that's coming and is trying to ruin me. It's trying to go there. It's trying to bully me. Alright, this is the most hydrating concealer I own. So this is going to be for ladies and gentlemen, or whatever you identify as, that are very dry. This is the Kosas concealer. Now, you can always powder it if you'd like, but because I don't powder, this is almost too hydrating for me, which I never thought I'd say. I never thought I'd say that. I never thought those words would come out of my mouth. But it kind of slips a little bit, like it doesn't. Some of the other ones, the Power Fabric that I just showed you, they stay. I think this one's a little thicker, so it slides around a little bit. It's still a gorgeous concealer. Definitely a pretty concealer. Like I said, I think it's more geared, or should be geared, toward people that have very dry skin. Because it does slip, and it can look a little cakey, a little makeup-y, so. But the color range is nice. It's a very brightening shade. This one is 03, so it's the third lightest. I'm not a fan of the color yellow, like in any regard, so, but whatever. This next one, it's interesting from sitting. It's kind of like lighter here, darker down here. This, you're probably thinking it's the Tarte Shape Tape. It is, but this is the creamy version. So this wasn't really talked about much for whatever reason. It kind of slipped under the rug, wasn't really hyped up, but it is a stunning concealer. If you like the Tarte Shape Tape concealer, but it was too drying for you, too heavy. Ding ding ding. My opinion, this is its better sister. I have a few shades for when I am tan, blah blah blah. But this is Ultra Creamy 20802. 0B is in boy. Light. So it's only good for 6 months, which is odd. But anyway, as you can see, it's very brightening. The color I got, very brightening. But it is a full coverage. The Kosas is a good medium. It's definitely full coverage. Gives you just as much coverage as the other one. But it's not drying. It's not. But it also dries down, so. But it's still going to leave you looking healthy. Do you see that? So, that's really good for people who have a dry under eye. It's not going to slip and slide, but it's also not going to totally set down to like a matte dry finish. So it's not going to feel sticky. It's not going to feel sticky. But it's also not going to be drying either, so it's the perfect concealer. I really like this one. Now we're getting in to my top 2 favorites. My top 3 would be Say, so that would come in 3rd place. 2nd place, is from Hourglass Cosmetics. This is in the shade Sepia. This is the Bandage Concealer. Makes some good sounds. I love their packaging. I love the frosted container, their classic logo, and the bronzy top. Now this is a very brightening shade as well, so I have certain concealers that I like if I want to do like a more brighter look, or this one's a little more like yellow undertone. I have a 2nd color from them as well that's even lighter, that's more of a neutral undertone. But this is definitely full coverage. Definitely full, probably my most full coverage concealer I own. That and the Tarte Shape Tape. Now, you can see that one's a little more matte than the others. You can see that's the Tarte. This one, there's a little bit of a glow, but not as much. But this is good for people who are borderline oily, but still dry, can use it too. It's going to look very glam, very porcelain doll-esque. It's going to cover if you have really dark under eyes, but it's not going to look geeky. But don't use too much. Maybe put a little bit in the inner, a little bit in the outer. Give you that lifted look. You don't need to overdo it with concealer. And why even bother putting foundation on at that point? Just use your concealer. Because by the time it blends out, it's going to cover your entire face. And that's how I can look cakey, unnatural, and start to get that like makeup-y look and start to fall into places we don't want it to fall into. So, and start accentuating things we don't want accentuated. So, a little bit. And then you can add more if you need to. But a gorgeous concealer I will forever repurchase, and I reach for often. So, now moving into my number one, which is a hidden gem. This one is really good too, just an honorable mention. The KVD Good Apple. This baby is full coverage. This is like slack. I love the ombre look. So if you are looking for a semi-matte finish, again, velvety, kind of like the Giorgio Armani, but Giorgio Armani is more thin. This is thick. This is a thick bitch, okay? But my number one concealer, I gotta give it to Milk. M-I-L-K. And what's interesting about this is it is a roller ball in here. And when you roll it on, it's going to help to depuff the under eyes. You click. Product will come through here, there. Then you can roll and apply it. You can tell by the packaging how much I love it. I use it all the time. I find myself not wanting to reach for another concealer because that's how much I love this. If I could only keep one, it would be this. But it depends on what you like in terms of coverage. You're only going to get a medium coverage out of this, like a high medium. But you can also get sheer coverage, just depending how you wear it, how you apply it. If you have a concealer that you're wanting more coverage out of that doesn't go to a full, leave it on there for a bit before you blend it. It'll thicken it and almost dry it, and then when it spreads, it won't spread out so much. Just a little pro tip for you. But this is in the shade 2, and let me see if I can get some out without bumping it. Yeah, it's not going to happen. I don't want to waste it. This is literally like gold to me, but it's right there. Oh, the perfect tone, perfect undertone for me. The color is perfect, and the finish is stunning. It's very hydrating, but it's not too hydrating. It's right there if you can see. So it just blends out perfect. It looks very even, like there's no choppiness where sometimes it looks a little like weird. No ma'am, it goes over the eye like a veil. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Hydrating, not drying. It's called the Sunshine Under Eye Tint and Brighten. And I would agree it's very brightening. It's made in the US. It's good for a year. And I love that it has the roller ball feature because again it's going to help with depuffing as you're applying it. So really like this hidden gem that a lot of people don't know about. So you're welcome. But yeah guys, that's it. If you want me to do powders, I've got some hidden gems for powders that will make you look dry and creepy. So if you want me to do that, I'll do that. I also have like reviewing, ranking my favorite hair products to help you have healthy hair after, you know, bleaching and coloring your hair, all that stuff. I've bought so many hair masks, so many products for the hair, and I've found the best of the best dry shampoos, the best hair mask, the best leave-in conditioner. So that will be coming next. So subscribe if you're not. We'd love